Hello, goddesses. Welcome to MenoLabs Live. It's Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. While we understand that every woman's experience is going to be different in perimenopause, we still want to be the platform that highlights a variety of women's experiences so we can all learn from them. We also realize that many of the studies that highlight women's or Asian American women's experiences, also might just focus on the Japanese, Chinese, and Korean American women's experiences. And we want to make sure that we also highlight many other Asian American experiences and they're not left out of the conversation. We want to open this up so that you guys are all a part of the conversation. So we'd love for you guys to leave comments and ask questions so we can be a part of the conversation and learn from each other. My name is Natasha and I'm the community manager. This is Dr. Maggie, and she is the brand expert and a naturopathic doctor. Welcome, Dr. Maggie. What are you drinking today?
Ooh, well, I actually have a cup of coffee this morning, a little different, with Goddess Glow Beauty Collagen in it, actually. That's what I'm sipping.
And I have water because I'm always needing to hydrate. It's so hot here in Arizona. We're really excited about the conversation today. And I want to start off by highlighting the promotion that we're having. It's going to be on all 6 items from MenoLabs, and it's going to be 40% off of any 2 or more items using the promo code VOICES40. So I'm going to just run through the products really quickly. It's Well Rested, Athena Shield, MenoFit, MenoGlow, it's a little bit hard to see there, Goddess Glow Beauty Collagen, and then our Happy Fiber. So any 2 or more items go into your cart, and then you'll get Goddess Glow Beauty Collagen as your gift with purchase, and then you'll get 40% off any 2 or more items. Carla's saying, I love hearing from Dr. Maggie. So excited to be here. And Carla said, love a discount. We love a discount too. We love to have these for you guys exclusively to our viewers. Just want to run through for anybody who's just joining us for a live right now for the icons. The product or the bottle icon is what's going to tell you more about the products. You can learn more about that. The bag icon is going to make sure that you put 2 or more in there to get that promo code that you really want to get 40% off 2 or more items in your cart. And then share with your friends is the triangle. Sharing is caring. We want to make sure that you share this amazing information that Dr. Maggie is going to be providing. And then also the promotion. The heart icon, we love your hearts. We love your encouragement. We really appreciate it. And in the comments below, you can ask your questions for Dr. Maggie to answer today. And then also, if you have any questions about products, our customer care team will be there to answer them as well. Let's start off the conversation with the SWAN study. The SWAN study is something that many publications are highlighting and sharing that this is where, many ethnicities are discussed and shared about their perimenopause experience. I'd love to ask our community, are you guys familiar with the SWAN study? And if so, please share in the comments. We'd love to hear from you and see if you've heard about the SWAN study, if you are referencing that for information with your experience. But Dr. Maggie, how does perimenopause affect Asian women differently than other women?
So, like you said, most of what we know about Asian Americans' experience with perimenopause and menopause comes from the SWAN study, which is a study of women's health across the nation. And it started in the 90s and it's still going on today, just tracking groups of women and with different racial ethnic backgrounds. Mm-hmm. So what we're learning about is that for Chinese American and Japanese American women, they do start menopause about a year earlier than Caucasian women. And we're also learning that their hot flashes and night sweats aren't as severe. It's not usually the symptom that's bringing them in to see their doctor. So the hot flashes and night sweats are not as severe. And when they do experience them, they don't last as long as for Caucasian women and Black women. So they tend to be, and actually Japanese American women have less intense, less severe, and last less long than Chinese American. But both Chinese American and Japanese American are less than Caucasian, Latina, and Black American.
So that's what's so difficult. That was we're trying to highlight in the intro is that every woman's experience is going to be different, but there's still value in us hearing everyone's experiences and learning from them. So that's what I find interesting. I mean, we can't really put a bubble around everything and say, this is, just this section of people, but we can still learn from each other. So that's what I love about this. Are there limitations of this study, of the SWAN study?
Yeah, there are limitations. I mean, it's amazing that we finally have a study that's recognizing each individual woman and ethnic racial background. So that's incredible. But of course, there's limitations. So, well, one, we're learning about Chinese American and Japanese American, but we're really not learning much about Indian women,
Yes.
about Pakistani women. I mean, there's 48 Asian countries that are represented here in the United States, but we're not really diving deep into each and every cultural experience for each one.
Definitely.
The other limitations, and I think they're trying to figure out, but besides just, racial background, or if you're Asian, or if you're Black or Caucasian, things like socioeconomic status and racism and experience of racism also matter a lot of how a woman experiences menopause. So there's not so much diving into that, but I think they do recognize that.
Definitely. The study found that Asian American women experience fewer hot flashes than other women, Black and white, as you just said. The study also makes it seem as though Asian American women have an easier experience than Black, white, Latina women, which isn't necessarily true. How can this study help us understand different women's experiences?
Yeah, it's not necessarily true, but it's a nice trend to recognize and honor and see, is it relevant to you? But by no means should anyone feel there's something wrong with me if it's not being recognized.
That's true.
I think one thing I didn't mention earlier that I'd like to mention is that the symptoms that we're seeing as being more predominant among Asian Americans is more of the musculoskeletal. So instead of hot flashes and night sweats, it's more like joint pain, muscle aches or pain, also mood changes like depression, anxiety, sleep issues, and vaginal symptoms like vaginal dryness and painful intercourse. So basically, like the aches and pains are the more predominant symptoms.
Let's dig into other factors that studies share about Asian American women. One of them is nutrition. Are there certain foods that are common in the Asian cultures that can benefit perimenopause symptoms for all women?
Yeah, so that's one thing we're learning about is and I know probably most of us have all heard, oh, maybe Asian women have an easier time because they eat more soy. And actually, there's some validity. We're learning a lot that soy, which is safe to eat. I know it's controversial. I hear it all the time in my practice. Can I have soy? Is it safe? Does it cause breast cancer? It is completely safe if you've had breast cancer. If it does not cause breast cancer, it's just a phytoestrogen. So it has a balancing effect and it can help with menopausal symptoms. And so we're recognizing that that is perhaps a variable that makes the vasomotor symptoms less severe in Asian American women. And just to dig in a little deeper, because I found it so interesting when I was reading about it, is that Japanese American women do eat more fermented soy. So fermented soy is like miso and natto. And Chinese American have more unfermented soy. So that's like tofu and soy milk. And that the fermented soy seems to be, which they consume more in Japan culture, Japanese Americans, has more of a beneficial effect, like more of a powerful effect with regards to bone health and vasomotor symptoms.
And the fermentation is also a kind of form of probiotic, right?
Yeah, when you ferment something, it has more of the live culture in it. So it's
maybe it's that double benefit.
Excuse me?
The double benefit of the soy and then the fermentation. Really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's great. I'd love to ask the community, do you guys have any type of soy product that you're eating in your diet? We'd love to hear from you. In traditional Chinese medicine, menopause is referred to as second spring. This has to do with the shift in the mindset. If we were to apply similar ideas to our own lives, what would they be?
That's such a good point, because how we view menopause, it really can shape our experience of menopause. And we know that, that our mindset regarding aging, and as for Asian Americans too, that can help ease it. So it's not just soy perhaps, but it's like how most Asian Americans view the aging process. It's more predominant in China and Japan than it is once you're here in the US, that mindset about aging changes. But yeah, so in China, menopause is considered the second spring, right?
Yes.
And so how can we embrace that for us to help us have a better menopause experience? So really it's this time where we can now, conserve the energy that was being used for menstruating, for carrying a baby. And now we can use that energy for ourselves, our own creativity, our pursuing our own dreams, and have a lot more resources and our own personal power to get after the things that really light us up.
Definitely. I love that. And community, I'd love to see what your mindset is around perimenopause. If you could share that in the comments below, we'd love to hear from you. I'm really excited. We have a video quilt, which is just a collection of some women that shared their experiences and their stories. And I'd love for us to hear or see those and get insight from real women and their experiences. We'll have that right here.
Hi, my name is Joan. I am Chinese American. I am 50 years old. Don't tell anyone. That's what the pink hair is supposed to hide. And I fall into the category, at least to date, knock on wood, of the 30% of women roughly who don't get severe menopausal symptoms. I do have fibroids, and I have changed OB-GYNs as a result of getting the best advice I can for my fibroids, because I found that my previous OB-GYN, who was wonderful, but her practice was really mostly focused on women who are trying to get pregnant, women who were pregnant, women who have children. That's a very specific stage in your life, and to get a bit more attention on the specific needs I have regarding fibroids, especially as you're approaching menopause, because they could shrink during menopause, but they also may not shrink. I switched over to a doctor who could really give me better advice for someone who's a little bit later in life and looking for advice around hormone levels and other changes to my body that I may not be aware of otherwise. So that's my story, and thanks.
Hi, my name is Natasha. I am 48 and I'm from India. I started my menopause journey when I was about 41 or 42. My first symptom was insomnia, and they just thought, I was stressed out, so that's why I wasn't sleeping. Basically, actually, you name it, I have that symptom, and it's been crazy. I even looked it up online once. I typed in, can menopause kill you? Google says menopause won't kill you, but you'll sure feel like it. So that's been my journey. Nice talking to you. Bye.
Hi, my name is Linda Liang, and I am Chinese and born in Taiwan. Came to the US when I was 7, and I am 53 this year. Looking back, I would say that my period journey started approximately 6 years ago when I first noticed that my extremely regular cycles were coming now 3 weeks. So I talked to my mom, and she suggested that I cook up some of the herbal soup that I've always drank since I was a teenager to help with cramps. So I did that for the first couple months, and I was back on regular cycle. In a year, I started missing 1 month, and out of the whole entire year. And this continued on for about 2 more years. So 3 years where I would have 11 cycles versus 12. 6 months ago, everything stopped. And I was fine with it. I didn't feel any type of symptoms whatsoever. The things that people talked about, like hot flashes, weight gain, emotional outbursts, nothing. I actually felt I was in the best state of my life and didn't know if that was normal, so to say. So I talked to my mom about this, of how it compares to what happened with her. Really fortunate that I do have my mom to talk to about what happened with her.
Hello, everyone. I really want to thank those ladies for sharing those stories. It really means a lot because, like I said, we're going to learn from each other, and that's what we're trying to do today. We are talking about the Asian American experience for Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So we are diving in with Dr. Maggie. She's sharing studies and information for us to learn from. I do want to highlight again that the promotion today is buy any 2 or more items from MenoLabs, and you will get 40% off. Plus, your gift with purchase will be Goddess Glow Beauty Collagen. That is going to be for 2 or more items, and you're going to be using the code VOICES40. That goes until Thursday at midnight. Now, we wanted to make sure that you guys get your questions in. I see we have a few over here, but we're going to get into those a little later, but I want to encourage you to share your questions so we can learn from each other. Carla said, I love that we are talking about all women's experiences, and that's what it's all about, just learning from each other and sharing our experiences. So I'm really excited about that today. Dr. Maggie, we talked about soy earlier. Are there other aspects of the diet that can help with perimenopause that we can learn from?
Yes. So we know that when we keep our blood sugar stable, that it can help us kind of ride the waves of hormonal fluctuations easier. So that is really being mindful of things that can throw our blood sugar off, like sugar and ultra processed foods. I mean, sugar can be a trigger for hot flashes for many people. So really being mindful of that. We do want to continue keeping blood sugar stable, and that's really getting good protein, good healthy sources of fat, and then of course getting all the vitamins and phytonutrients that our body needs to function optimally. So dark leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables are great, and healthy sources of protein again for keeping the blood sugar stable, also building muscle, which we really need to support bone health at this time. So and the other thing is alcohol. Ooh, it's a trigger. It can really throw off hormones. It can trigger hot flashes. It can interfere with our sleep. So it is. It can really be alcohol in particular, and the sugar can really be the two things that can make us feel worse during this time.
Definitely. And those are the hardest ones sometimes to let go of. So it's really something you got to focus on. We were talking about bone health for Asian American women earlier and osteoporosis. Why is this something that's concerning to them, and why it might be affecting them more?
Yeah, being Asian is a risk factor for developing osteoporosis. Asian women have a smaller bone frame in general and have less bone mineral density, and are higher risk of developing osteoporosis and higher risk of developing fractures later in life. It's a big deal. It's not talked about enough. It's a very big deal.
I've heard friends who have asked their moms about menopause and how it was an easy experience, as you shared earlier, for them. Even if this is the case, what do you want to remind women about their health in midlife?
Well, I'll repeat what we've said a few times, that every woman has a unique experience. So just because someone had an easy experience, or your mom did, doesn't mean you, or if you have something different, doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. Everyone has such a unique experience. And what I've heard also in the Asian community is this theme, at least among the women I talk to everyone I can about their experience, is that this idea of, from the moms, I went through this, you're going through this, period. Like, I got through it, you're going to get through it, period.
Yes.
So, no, but this is a different time, and we're sharing our experiences, and there's so many options now. You don't need to suffer through it. So I just want everyone to keep talking about it and sharing their stories and learning from each other, because I do believe the solution to menopause is going to be coming from diversity and a multicultural perspective.
Definitely. I love that. And even if someone's having like an easier time with, let's say, hot flashes, they should still meet up with their doctor and discuss that they're experiencing something that's a little different, right?
Yes, every woman should. Every woman should have a conversation with her doctor, because there's just having lower hormone levels puts you at higher risk of developing certain chronic diseases like heart disease, bone health, osteoporosis, and even dementia. So every woman should. And because we know Asian Americans go through menopause earlier, and just because of their body frame are at higher risk of developing osteoporosis, right? And so going through menopause early is a risk factor for osteoporosis, and just being Asian is a risk factor for osteoporosis. Yet our guidelines for screenings, all women, is the same, right? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that all women at 65, no matter what your race, ethnicity, should get screened. So we really do need to be the CEO of our health and advocate for ourselves to our doctors.
That's exactly it. And then my other question is HRT options. Every woman is open and available to have HRT work for them, right?
Hormone replacement therapy is very safe for a majority of women. Okay. There are very few contraindications that would prevent someone from using hormones. There are a few. You want to start within the first 10 years of menopause, and really the contradictions are if you have a personal history of breast cancer, not a family history, but a personal history, or you have an unprovoked blood clot ever. So like you're just sitting watching TV and you get a clot or a pulmonary embolism, not a clot after surgery or a car accident. That's so unprovoked, meaning you just get a blood clot. That's a contraindication. You don't want to go on hormones. If you're receiving any chemotherapy right now for any cancers, you don't want to do that. Or if you're bleeding and you don't know why, you don't want to start hormone therapy. So for the vast majority of women, if you start hormone replacement therapy within the first 10 years of menopause, it can help with hot flashes and night sweats, and it's FDA approved also to prevent osteoporosis.
Wow, that's really interesting. I didn't know that either. From our community, Carla said, if you love sugar, how do I stabilize without cutting out sugars that I love?
Okay, well, I'll answer your question, which is just, I'll answer it. So you want your sugar, you want your cake and or you want your sugar and not have any negative effects from it. So pair it with a protein, pair it with a protein, pair it with a fat. That will help. If you just eat like a donut plain, oh my God, you're gonna feel horrible. But if you kind of pair that with maybe, gosh, they always say like put almond butter on it or a handful of nuts, you won't have such a swing. However, I do think that if you're able to really, if you could take a sugar break, it really can help with the cravings, right?
Yes,
Like I know everyone loves it and you crave it. And the more you eat it, the more you crave it. If you can give yourself, like I usually say, like 3 weeks without it, it really can break the sugar cravings.
Yeah. I just have to say, I do love dates with almond butter on it. That's like my favorite go-to if I want a snack, or I do one little piece of dark chocolate, organic dark chocolate. And that's all I need. And it's perfect.
Those are healthier sugar options. Yes.
Yeah. Someone is asking from our social community, can I cut sweat glands so I no longer sweat? I would like to feel like a woman again. So I have to say, I know that I've heard that Botox can be helped with sweat, but I was wondering, are there natural options? Like, are there things that can help women during perimenopause if they're sweating everywhere and can't stop?
Well, I mean, hormone replacement therapy is FDA approved to treat hot flashes and night sweats. So yeah, so there's no controversy there. So you need to talk to your doctor. You don't want to cut out your sweat glands because we need to sweat if we're overheating. Like we still need to sweat there. You don't want to do it just to get rid of night sweats. There's other options. So if you don't want to use hormone replacement therapy, I mean, there's other medications, I should say non-estrogen medications. There's one that was just FDA approved like a couple days ago.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's where if you want to that directly affects hot flashes and night sweats, it's not estrogen based. And then there's the herbs that have been used for thousands of years that, again, doesn't necessarily address root cause, but can help bring relief. And also recognizing if there's any trigger. So there are solutions. It's really about finding someone who can walk you through all the treatment options.
Definitely. This is so helpful. I have honestly learned more here than from my doctor. That's why we love having Dr. Maggie here. And that's why we also recommend you getting a second opinion, going and seeing another doctor. You can look on the NOMS website, which we can share in our Facebook group, or someone in our comment section from our moderators can share with you so that you can get an option in your area to look at someone who's a specialist in perimenopause, because that's really helpful. Some more questions from social. Will MenoFit help with back and arm acne?
Well, it depends what's contributing. If the acne is kind of recent during perimenopause, women can get more acne because as estrogen levels decline, our liver makes more of a protein called sex hormone binding globulin, or actually makes less of it. It makes less sex hormone binding globulin. So we have more, which is a protein that binds testosterone. So we're making less of it. Testosterone's more prevalent and can bind to our sebaceous glands and create more acne. So that can happen during perimenopause and menopause. And so what the question was, would these products help? So
would MenoFit help?
Would MenoFit help? MenoFit really is such a great foundational product for balancing and supporting hormones. And it can work both. What I love about MenoFit, it supports gut health, which has a lot to do with hormones and hormone metabolism and mood. And it also has the vitamins and minerals to support many biological processes in the body, including our liver detoxification pathways, which are really important for metabolizing hormones and can be very helpful for skin health. So yes, definitely try it because it's a safe option, and it's really addressing the underlying root of looking at gut health and liver health and its connection to skin health.
Definitely. The next one, is it normal to itch in your vagina? This is a really big question, I think, with the dryness in the vagina that we should probably discuss. I heard you talking about it a little bit earlier.
No, it's not normal to itch. It's common to itch. Itchiness as a symptom of the genitourinary syndrome of menopause is a symptom. It's not a huge one. There are other causes of itching. So no, it's not normal. It's common, and there's many different causes. So I would definitely see your doctor. I mean, there's infections. There's something called lichen sclerosis that is not uncommon. That is misdiagnosed a lot. That's a big symptom, is itching.
Wow.
So also you just want to make sure that you're not using any products in your vaginal, vulval, vestibular area. It doesn't need any products, any scents, because that can cause irritation and itching. So basically not normal, common, yes, could be because of hormonal changes, but could also be because of other reasons. So definitely see your doctor so you can get that looked at. So
good to know. The first thing I thought of was vaginal dryness, because I've heard some women say that because their vagina is dry, it feels a little itchy. So it's good that, it's like we said earlier, you have to check with your doctor because it could be one of many things. And if you want to get the help you need, you have to go and see them. What should I do if I have a hot flash this summer, Carla? Good question. It's harder during the summer because you're already hot.
Yeah, so just, oh my goodness, wear layers and wear light clothing. You just so you can take off the clothes. You can get like one of those handheld fans. You can get them at Target. You can spray it on yourself. You get a spritzer, spray it on yourself. Be mindful of any like hot beverages because they can be a trigger. So and drinking cold water, cucumbers, they're very cooling. So just to kind of be preventative. So like light clothing, layered clothing, handheld fan, little water spritzer.
We can dive into the products. We had 2 products we were going to highlight today, and I think it's perfect timing to do that. MenoGlow is here, and that is something that helps with hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, and low energy. It's our probiotic. And it's just something that I thought would be, perfect to highlight after you just said all the things that can happen during a hot flash. This is something that can help to relieve you during the summer. Did you have anything else you would say about MenoGlow, Dr. Maggie?
No, it's such an easy, safe product. It's supporting gut health. It's giving you vitamins and minerals to support energy, detoxification, and mood. It has the additional nutrients to support hair, skin, and nails. And, again, like it's something just that you can take daily to help try to prevent the hot flashes and night sweats.
Definitely. And then the other one we were talking about today is Goddess Glow Beauty Collagen. And the big focus here is it helps with the preventing osteoporosis. Am I right, Dr. Maggie?
I wouldn't say that I would use it. I would think it can help. Collagen is a helpful addition. Helpful addition because it's important for connective tissue surrounding the bone. So it is something I do as part of a protocol. In addition to calcium and vitamin D and weight-bearing exercise, I will add in collagen. And it's a great product because, again, you're getting away from the pills. I love that it's just a powder. You can really throw it in anything. Like I had it in my coffee this morning. And it's just an additional support that's not swallowing a pill. It's helpful to hair, skin, and nails, and your connective tissue of the bones.
Definitely. Well, we've gotten so much great information from you today. We hope you guys have learned. Like I said, I want to encourage you guys to share your stories, share your experiences, ask your questions, join us at our Facebook group, MenoLife, so we can expand on this conversation. We also want to ask you guys to share how can we reframe our thoughts on the perimenopause experience to be more positive, like second spring. So we've learned what that is today, and we want to be able to channel that and learn from each other and how we can do that. So we want to thank you guys for joining us. Dr. Maggie, thank you once again, and we'll see you at the next MenoLabs Live.